Most restoration contractors never break 7 figures. And out of the ones that do, I would say over half of them wind up shutting down within 5 years. Why is that? They don't have the blueprint to scale a simple business. Instead, they bloat the business and it becomes overtly complex and not very fun to run or own or manage. And in today's video, I'm going to give you the blueprint of how you can grow and scale a simple water damage restoration business. How do I know? I've done it myself. Not only that, I've done multiple 7-figure businesses. And some of the clients that I've worked with have done over $10, $15, and $20 million a year. So here's the deal. If you want to grow a simple, scalable restoration business, you do not want to miss this video. Let's go. All right, guys, as we get started, do me a favor, hit the like and the subscribe button. Drop a comment down below. Let me know where you're tuning in from. It helps the algorithm show my video to more people. Thank you so much. Now, in this video, I'm going to cover a handful of things, but here's what I want you to know more than anything. Nobody starts in water damage restoration. You probably didn't either. I know that I didn't. I started doing a handful of different things. As a matter of fact, I was a home builder first, and then I got into music and wound up getting a record deal. And you can see more of that on the channel if you didn't already know that. But then I got into running a handyman business and whatnot, and then I got into reconstruction and restoration. Here's the point. I did a whole bunch of things, probably a lot like you, before you got into restoration. And I learned a lot of things along the way. I did some things good, I did some things bad. But for the most part, I learned a lot of different skills as I went from vehicle to vehicle to vehicle. And as a matter of fact, as you're watching this video today, there's a lot of things that I know today that I wish I knew when I started my restoration company. And newsflash, in case you guys didn't know, I'm starting yet another water damage restoration company down here in Florida. I'll clue you in on that a little bit later. But here's what I want you to know. There's a lot of things that we learn along the way. And in the video today, I'm going to share with you a lot of the lessons that I learned, okay? Specifically, how do you build a 7-figure restoration company? And you really only need one truck to do it, all right? So let me tell you a handful of things that we're going to cover in this business today. Or, excuse me, let me tell you a handful of things that we're going to cover in this video today. One of the things is what I call the factor of 3 or the rule of 3. And this is going to have a lot to do with scaling. As you try to build a business and then you break it, you're going to see why. Everything goes in a factor of 3. You do not want to miss this. This is going to be very important regardless of the industry that you're in. And the next thing is we're going to talk about how hitting $1 million of water damage is easy if you skip reconstruction, okay? We'll also talk about what's the difference between actually owning and running the business versus running it and not owning it. So if you guys work for the restoration man or you work like in upper management, I'm gonna tell you the distinct differences as you get to launching and running your own business. Here's the deal. There's a bunch of these things. I don't think you want to miss it. Let's hop in.
Nobody starts in restoration. You wind up there, you know? And for me, I didn't start there either. Like I started as a home builder, working for somebody else. And then that's where I learned how to build a bunch of houses. And then my first actual business was my band, like being a musician, having a booking agent. And so like that was my first business. And then I got out of the music business and I started my first company, Simple Solutions. And we were essentially a handyman company. Okay. And then over the years, I just morphed into restoration. And I think here's the bigger takeaway that I think I get derailed. That's why I do these videos, because I untangle my thoughts and hopefully it's helpful for you guys. But at the group, I was explaining to them how I've done several different things and I broke the $1 million mark in multiple businesses in multiple industries. Okay. And I say that to you because each one is different. Each one is different. And it's like, we were talking today, like, how can I, and what is my role to help others, right? Like, and the question we asked ourselves is this: if you sold your business today and you had $25 million, $30 million, whatever your number was, if you had that money, what do you do tomorrow? What do you do in the next 6 months or 6 years? And that, my friend, is a scary question, because now you're operating where money doesn't matter. And like, what are we here to do? So that was kind of the backdrop of how I got to this. And so here's what I can tell you guys. If you follow me, like, I've accomplished a lot of things that most people do not do. Okay. From like growing up in Alabama and living in a trailer to deciding you want to move to Nashville to be a country singer. And then you actually do that. And like, you go to college. First one in the family go to college. I go to college and then I graduate and I'm like, yeah, this isn't it. this isn't what I don't know what I want to do, but it ain't it. There's more. And so I left the trailer, moved to Nashville to be a country singer, and I got a record deal, bro. I had a song on the radio. I've got a write up in Billboard magazine. Like, I accomplished a lot of things. I had a booking agent. I toured for over a decade. Like, I did things that people don't do. Okay. And then I got out of music and I started a business, and then we broke $1 million, and then I got into another business, and we broke $1 million, and I got into another business, and we broke $1 million. And like, you start to look at these things, and what I started to see is like, most people struggle to get to the first milli. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I'm like, the path to the first million is probably pretty easy. Like, you just got to figure out how are you going to get job. What are you going to sell? And how are you going to sell it? You figure that out, and you don't have to be good at scaling or anything. Maybe one of my superpowers is figuring it out. I don't know. But we were talking about this today, and I just had the realization, like, I have broken 7 figures in unrelated fields, or they're related, but like, just because you do one does not at all mean you'll do the next one, right? And so when it comes to restoration and breaking 7 figures, here's what I can tell you. The first million's easy, bro. It's so easy. And let me back up. And I ain't talking with recon either, right? Like, without recon, breaking the million is easy. Because breaking $1 million in restoration and doing recon, that's stupid easy. But the problem is, it's just stupid because you don't know what recon is. And most guys in restoration are so bad at construction, you have no business trying to be a contractor. Like, bro, I built, I don't know. Let me think about this. If not hundreds, over 100, probably hundreds of houses from the ground up, from like footer to shingles, hundreds. So I know construction, bro. I know it. And I know it better than anybody watching this video. Most likely, because I didn't just do like ground up construction. Okay. I also grew up in Alabama, and I worked for years as a framer. And then I worked as a trim carpenter, and I worked as a plumber, and I worked as an electrician. And I have put shingles on a house, bro. I'm scared of heights. I roofed houses, scared of heights. I painted. I did everything that's in a house, everything at the individual labor level, then as the GC, because it was only when I watched that little jerk with the plans tell everybody what to do, that was when I said, that's my job. That's the one I want. I want to tell everybody else what to do. And I was 16, 17 years old saying that. And guess what I wound up doing? I did that. And so maybe that's where my understanding in construction is, okay? Because I literally understand every component in the house. You understand? Every component in the residential structure. Every one. So yeah, I think I know it better than most everybody that will watch this. And I think that's a fact. And then I started my own business. And then I got in the trenches, and I also learned this. Working for somebody else, having somebody else's name on your shirt, bro, is different than putting your name on your shirt. Huh? A W-2, doing it as a W-2 is so different than doing it when you're the man, bro. If you guys work for a company and you feel like you want to go out and spread your wings, let me tell you something. If you do just enough to get by as a W-2, you will do just enough to get by as a business owner, okay? Let me save yourself something. Keep your day job. Keep your day job. Because when it's just you out there in the darkness, it's just you in the abyss, it's just you on the mountain, there's no answers. It's a different feeling, bro. It's a different feeling. And when you work for somebody else, that's like saying you're a pilot, but you're really a co-pilot at best. At best, you're a co-pilot. And let me tell you something, when you run your own business, dog, there ain't nothing but controls and knobs all in the cockpit. And you ain't got to touch but one. And when one of those buttons is, you don't know what it is and you touch it, it could be eject. Okay? And when you don't own the business, bro, you don't know what all the buttons mean. Yeah, you might be able to fly the plane, but that doesn't mean you can do everything related to that plane. And when you own that business, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Okay? So you need to have that thorough of an understanding. Y'all get me sidetracked, man. Y'all do get me sidetracked. So I say these things to you because, like, let's back up a little bit.
Hey guys, real quick, in case you didn't know, I help people just like you grow and scale your water damage restoration business. If you are interested in me helping you grow and scale your company, go to workwithshane.com. We hop on a 15-minute call to see if we're a good fit. Workwithshane.com. Now, let's go back to the video.
We started on how can I help others, and like getting to that first million, I can get you there pretty easy because I've done it multiple times. And maybe the first one is the hardest. I don't know. A lot of guys say the second's the hardest or the third or the fourth. There's break points. There's break points to your break points go in threes, factors of threes. I don't know if y'all know this or not. Roughly factors of threes. And I don't know what this law is, but it's like a scaling dynamic. There's mole, there's pi, there's Avogadro's number. There are certain numbers, the golden ratio. There are constants in life. There are numbers in life, in math that we see. I'm about to give you one. This is going to be Shane's number, and this is going to be the factor of 3. So when you scale a business, these things, they break at the 3 mark. When you start your business, getting to roughly 300 grand, you got to have a certain set of skills to get to 300 grand. And then you're going to cap out. And then after, you have to solve some problems to get beyond 300 grand. But if you are able to solve those problems at 300 grand, guess where it takes you to? Multiply it times what? 3. Where does that take you? Roughly $1 million. Roughly $1 million. Roughly $1 million. I always say this is getting out of the ditch. Getting out of the ditch. I've been good at getting out of the ditch, and maybe only to a certain level, but I haven't figured out why that is. But let me tell you something. Getting to that first $1 million is pretty simple. Getting really, really simple. If you're in water damage restoration, one truck can get you to $1 million, son. One truck. And you can get to it in 12 months. And if you're not at $1 million of water damage mitigation coming in the door, as a matter of fact, if you ain't on pace, if you ain't doing $80,000 a month of water mitigation within 100 days, 150 days, you're missing something. You're missing something. You're missing it. Because you don't go from 20 grand to 90 grand. It's called a run rate, bro. It's a run rate. And the way you get to the millions, you get to 80 and you keep it going for a year. So if you can't figure that out, that's because you're missing a piece. You're missing a piece to the puzzle, right? And so 300,000 is the first break point. $1 million is the second. So who wants to guess what the third break point is? 3 million. Tres. I don't know how to say million in Spanish. So I can't say that. Mil. I think that's 1,000 in Spanish. I digress. So there are things that you have to do to get beyond $3 million in water damage restoration, like how you structure the business. Okay. But once you figure those things out, you build the stuff up around the $3 million mark, and guess where it takes you, dog? Who wants to guess? Once you get to 3, where does that take you? To 9 or $10 million. And it breaks again. It breaks again. And if you get to 10 and you fix it, where do y'all think you're going to go? 30 million. And you got to fix it again. And then where does that take you? 100 million, 90 to 100, plus or minus 10 million. Okay. Now we're getting into territory of numbers that I don't understand because I haven't done that amount. Okay. But it doesn't change this dynamic and this factor of 3. Okay. It doesn't. And this is literally undeniable. It just is. Okay. I go back to this. Most people struggle getting the first million, and I'm able to get to the first million and get there pretty quick. Okay. And if you guys, the differences in water damage restoration, I can show you the map to 10 million. Not because I did it myself. Food's here. Food's here. But I'm going to keep making my video. But my food is getting cold. See, that tells you how much I care about you guys, right? I've just worked with enough contractors that have been running the stuff that I teach for long enough that even my students have gone far beyond I ever went myself. Does that make sense? My students have gone beyond where I went. Probably the greatest coach in NFL history, one of them, might be considered Bill Belichick. But you know how many snaps he took in the NFL? Probably none. Probably none. But at some point, you are able to communicate and convey the best parts of your journey and what you learn, and you're able to get more out of other people. Tom Brady, and you get Bill Belichick and Tom Brady together, and you will see someone that has a bigger, better career, a playing career than Bill ever had. And it doesn't bother me because I didn't have me helping me. You understand? I didn't have me helping me, dog. I was figuring it out on my own. I take a lot of pride in watching my students go further than me at this point. All they're doing is taking the wins and the losses that I found to be true and running the best plays and stop doing the wrong things.
Guys, if you didn't already know, the two biggest problems you're going to have in owning a restoration company are this. Number one, getting consistent water damage jobs coming in the door. Number two, getting paid what you're worth for those water damage jobs. For that reason, I'm addressing both those problems with these videos to my left or right. On one side, it's about getting jobs. On the other side, it's about getting paid. Go over there, click the link. I'll see you in the next video.